From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Less Levine, it's a Monday night. It's a brand new week getting toward the baseball playoffs. Browns coming off a win on Thursday night. Welcome to More Sports and Less Levine, powered by cleveland.com. I'm Les Levine. The guy on the other side of the county is Bud Shaw. Where are you? What, an undisclosed place?
Yeah, well, I'm not allowed to say, Les.
Oh.
Ever since the witness protection program.
How's that going?
Pretty good. I'm not recognized very often wearing my mask.
I was going to say, you only get one chance to make a mistake if you're in the witness protection.
I was just thinking, when you were doing your open there, how many times have you been able to say the Indians are headed toward the playoffs and the Browns are coming off a win?
Yeah, this is groundbreaking news, no question about that.
It's in a long, long time. So.
And by the way, happy anniversary to you.
Well, thanks. How'd you know that?
You mean it is?
Yeah. How'd you know?
No, seriously, is it really?
Yeah, it's my wedding. It was my wedding anniversary yesterday. That's what I thought you were saying. I thought, wow,
no.
Les knows a lot about my personal life that I didn't.
No, what I do know is that 50 years ago was Monday Night Football at Cleveland Stadium.
Oh, that's the anniversary. Okay.
Well, congratulations to you.
Yeah, thank you. I don't remember the first game very much, to tell you the truth. And I think in part it was because that first game was not a big deal at all, right?
Yeah, it's funny because you look at it and you say, well, you know, Art Modell got a lot of credit for taking the game on. He really took it on because he was an advertising guy, and he wanted New York, whether it was the Jets or the Giants, to not have to black out their stadium if it was a home game. So he volunteered to take it. It looks like a genius move in retrospect, but it wasn't. As you say, there wasn't that much interest. And when you look back, you say, how did that not work?
Yeah, and that crowd that night was somewhere, around 85,000 or something?
Yeah. Joe Namath against the Browns, and
we know will never be topped.
Yeah.
Certainly during the COVID season, but no, there'll never be another Monday night crowd like that. I wouldn't think.
No, I wouldn't either. And the Browns win the game. Billy Andrews, linebacker, comes up with an interception of Namath and puts it away. Homer Jones had returned the second half kickoff for a touchdown for the Browns, and they went on to win that game. And do you remember how good it was to watch Monday Night Football when Howard Cosell would do the highlights? Absolutely.
I was going to say that, you know, there's a certain generation of Browns fans who probably wonder, like, well, what's the big deal about it anyway? You know, now there's primetime games on Thursday, Sunday night. You know, some weeks late in the season they might do a Saturday night game or whatever. But back then it was like the only time you could see the other games.
Yeah.
And the highlight thing that Cosell did on the other games on a Sunday in the NFL was one of the, you know, the highlights of the week was just waiting for that.
It's hard to believe. You would wait till let's say 8:30 or 9 o'clock before you saw some touchdown was made 48 hours or whatever that is, the day before on Sunday. There were several times when they flew the tapes in. This is so archaic. They'd fly the tapes in from the NFL films, and it sometimes wouldn't get there until Cosell was starting to do his highlight show.
Yeah, it's really crazy, but it was such a I guess it was like in the old days of baseball when you had to wait till the World Series to see the team from the other league, you know. But yeah, it was the only time you got to see players, and they were just brief snippets in halftime. But then, you know, you would get to see that certain teams play on that game on Monday night, and it was great. And of course, he made it, you know, melodramatic, beyond dramatic. He made it melodramatic at times, but it was so unique.
Do you remember Dandy Don Meredith came up with probably the greatest line in football history? They should have just shut the cameras down after Dandy Dan said this. The Browns had a wide receiver by the name of Fair Hooker. And Dandy Don says, "I never met one that was." You just shut out the light. That's shut out the lights. The party's over at that moment.
Yeah, and you know that came off the North Dallas 40 was always about the crazy Cowboys teams, and it was sort of that. I think it came before Ball 4, didn't it, or close to it?
Ball 4 would have been 1969, right around. Yeah. Football was 70, and
we're getting a glimpse into what was happening off the field in different sports at that time for the first time.
Right. You think about it, it should have been a no-brainer, but you know, but it continues on 50 years later. It's unbelievable. 216.
Yeah.
Well, what that tells you is there wasn't that much gambling on football in those days. I mean,
Yeah, probably.
the thing that turned it over was somebody said, "Hey, people get an extra chance if they lose on Sunday, they can bet on Monday." Oh yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a plan.
Yeah. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at realleslavine@gmail.com. All right, so here we are. We finally got a game in at home, not the opening game at Baltimore. They come back and silence, a little bit of silence on Baker Mayfield because I think he played the way people hoped he would play.
Yeah, and I think we're all trying to sort out, this early in the season, what the quality of the opponent is and how that's affected the play of your team. And I think everybody around the league is doing that. We know that the Ravens and Steelers are probably a step, the Ravens definitely, but maybe even the Steelers are a step ahead of the Browns and the Bengals at this point. But it was still good to see what Stefanski's offense is supposed to look like, and good to see Mayfield throwing accurately again.
On the run also.
Run at times too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was what everybody thought we would see from him in this offense. And if it happened to come against a subpar team, so what? He'll get his chance to prove it in soon enough against better competition.
All right, we'll continue talking about that. Let's turn our attention to something that's happening more immediate, and that is the Indians by tomorrow night could actually, by tonight, if things go the right way, the Indians could wind up clinching a playoff spot. If not, they could do it tomorrow. They've got Seattle and the Blue Jays to worry about. Magic number is just 2. Did you see it coming down this way, Bud? And you've got, by the way, the last 3 games. I won't even say if necessary, but they will play the last 3 games, and that's against Pittsburgh, and that'll be coming up over the weekend. Did you expect, when you look back, did you think this is about the way the season was going to finish, regular season?
No, I mean, obviously, I never saw them with their pitching losing 8 in a row. So I thought by now they would have had this clinched, but I fully expect they will. I think there are good signs that they're getting pitching Plesac right now to go along with what they know they can get from Beaver. And Jose Ramirez is starting to come around to be the player that everybody thought. So I'm not, I've never subscribed to that. Well, all you have to do is get in because then anything can happen. I think that might be true in the rarest of cases, but you need to go in feeling good about your team in different aspects of it. Right now, I know they feel good about their starting pitching. I'm not sure they feel great about their offense or their defense right now. So they still have some work to do. You'd like to see them finish up strong in the final week.
You look at the standings there. This is 1 through 8. You don't have Seattle in there, which would be 9th, still out with an outside chance to overcome Cleveland. But when you think about that, Bud, you look at those standings and you say, let's go back to whenever the season started. I don't even remember now. But who is going to pick Tampa Bay to win big over New York? You see the White Sox in there in second place. And most people who saw the Indians play the White Sox so many times last year knew the White Sox would be there, but not in a runaway for the championship and that championship based on only a 60-game schedule. And then you had Minnesota playing about where they should play, and the Yankees are 5th, Houston's 6th, then the Indians, and then come Toronto. So it's pretty hard if you redraft it, as we say in football. I don't think many people would redraft it the way it came out.
No, I just think it's the quirk of the 60-game season. I mean, just think about how many times teams have gotten off to pretty good starts or still been in the hunt, and young teams, and suddenly they just can't hold up during the course of the year, either because their pitching depth isn't as good or something else. They lose a productive player. So I think we're just seeing it's an odd season. We knew that going in, and we're seeing the evidence of it in those standings.
You hear baseball people talk about teams and how they're going to be, and usually you say, well, you got to see them play 40 games before you can make some kind of a decision about them. Do you think that theory still holds up, or do you think they need 60 as they've got now, or even 100 to make it more realistic?
Yeah, I think 100 to make it more realistic. I think you get that glimpse of what teams need to fix after 40 games. You don't always know what their personality is going to be and how they're going to continue through the rest of the season. So I think this more than ever would be one of those seasons that a team gets hot and it's a good team that it didn't perform great over the first 60 games, but they have it in them to do so, and that team could make a run in the postseason. So I guess technically I'm saying the Indians could be that team. I'm just watching them. I just think there are too many concerns right now about them offensively. They're
And,
going to have. There's going to be good pitching by every organization the further you go into the playoffs. Every team's going to have good starts, and it's the team that can put together a big inning or manufacture some runs is the one that's going to come out ahead. And I'm just not sure about them yet.
all right, the way it sets up is the Indians, as of now, would go play in Los Angeles and probably take on the White Sox, I think, and it looks like the best of three 3 out of 5 wins will allow them to advance. But we'll talk more about that as we go along. I don't know about you. I did a lot of scoreboard watching this year, but I didn't watch how other players were doing around the league. Other than Bieber, who was just sensational, and you didn't mind matching him up against anybody. But
Right.
Jose Ramirez is a guy who doesn't seem to hit one home run when he hits one in a game. He seems to hit two, hitting 284, 15 homers, 38 RBIs, and 10 stolen bases. Does that make him a candidate for the MVP this year?
Yeah, those are numbers that they're hard to get your head around just because you can't keep in mind that it's only a 60-game season. But certainly he'd be a guy that you'd want in the conversation. I haven't looked around the league to see if anybody's blowing that home run total away. But I know for a fact that if he doesn't continue on that line, this team probably doesn't have much of a chance because they're still not getting what they expected to get out of Lindor.
Right. Why do you suppose that is?
I don't know, Les. It's too easy, I think, to sit back, and we do it too often in sports writing, and to say, "Oh, it's a contract year, and the guy's he's worried about where he's going to be next year, and he's not." I don't think he's that kind of player. I just think, if anything, he probably feels the burden of trying to carry this team, and is probably swinging at pitches that he wouldn't normally do.
Well, I got another one. It's the LeBron James theory that if he brings a championship to Cleveland this year, it makes it easier for him to leave.
Well, that would certainly be the case. I mean, the difference between LeBron, the grief LeBron took the first time and the second time, can't be compared, and that's the reason why is that he said he wanted to win a title. He came back and did it. If Lindor could do that in this city, it's waited since 1948. Certainly, I think people would feel better about him leaving. Maybe not great, but a little better anyway.
You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/more sports and Les Levine with new content posted each and every day. We post it in the morning. You answer it in the afternoon or whenever you want. We read them at night, sometime between 6 and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Bud Shaw with us. We are powered by cleveland.com. Back in a moment. More sports and Les Levine continues.
Sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com, Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
I'm comfortable. I'm confident. If it was up to me, I'll tell coach, play me regardless. I'm good. If it was my decision, but obviously it's going to be all on coach and ownership. But I feel I'm comfortable. I can do everything, I thought I could do. Just got to continue to take it one day at a time and just go from there. I feel like I'm ready. I just saw the progression every day, and I knew that, I would be back in no time. It's been a long 5 weeks, I feel like, but like I said, I did everything in my power to come back. I've been rehabbing. I just been putting in a lot of time, with just trying to get my knee better and just get back used to, just walking straight, because I had my brace on and it kind of stopped me from straining my leg and things like that. So my bones could heal and things like that. So I just try my best to just stay on top of everything and making sure that I stay, off my leg and just let this thing heal.
You hate when your guys go down with any type of injury, and then when you think it might be long term, and then we got good news on Max, so to see him back out there, it was really outstanding. And he brings energy, he brings some skills as an athlete, running around, hitting people. So excited to have him back out there.
But I think one of the best news we received as Browns fans is that Mack Wilson wasn't hurt for that long and has come back and will have only missed 2 or 3 games, which I think is great news.
Yeah, I know. It hasn't been very comforting to watch this defense play so far this year, and you don't know whether these guys coming back will fix all of those problems. Certainly, that's a position, linebacker, where they can use all the help they can get.
All right, so Mack Wilson returns to practice. Greedy Williams and Kevin Johnson all return to practice today, so that's great news also. Great news is that Devin in Concord is still watching us. Hello, Devin. Devin, are you there? Well, maybe he's not watching us, bud.
Hey, I can hear you.
There you go. Just start talking. We'll put you on when we feel like it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, so, I like this organization, the front office, and I love the coach and stuff. The one thing I didn't like is why they thought they had to get rid of Joe Schobert. I mean, he called all the defensive schemes, all the calls. He's a veteran guy. He could show these young guys, basically how to do it.
At a position where they're weakened.
Yeah. I just don't understand it, even analytically. I mean, he wasn't going to break the bank. I mean, the guy can play. He's not a bad player. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's not Luke Kuechly.
Is it possible, Bud, that in the past and now going into today, that certain positions are just undervalued or overvalued, and you make sure you keep the ones more positionally than you do the player himself? In other words, maybe it was more important to not have great linebackers than it is to have a real good one. That sounds so stupid, but I think that there's something to it.
No, I do think there's something to them looking at position groups and what they want to spend on those positions. on the players at that position group, and I don't think they value linebackers anywhere near as much as they do. Obviously, back end of the secondary guys and pass rushers. So I think there is something to that. But I get Devin's point. I mean, sometimes you have, we hear that while his tackling wasn't great, he missed tackles, all that. I don't know enough about the analytics to know if that's a real red flag or not at that position. I assume it's not the greatest thing you want, a guy who doesn't make all the tackles, but I thought he was very effective, and I thought he brought other things to the team.
And I agree, Les. Like, there's that analytics. Like, do you want a run stuffing linebacker, or do you want a third down guy that covers backs out of the backfield? He never came off the field, and so he was very much of a hybrid player. And also, like the missed tackle thing, the analytics. What is a missed tackle? Is it he ran 12 yards on a sweep and dove and just missed his ankle? Do they consider that a missed tackle?
Probably. I mean, I compare it more to the baseball stats that you get, like the ball flight, the arc, and all that stuff. What difference does it make if the home run goes in the 3rd row or the 30th row?
Right.
Do you get more points for that?
I know. Hey, I met your brother yesterday.
I heard that. You've now met the two brothers, the nephew, but not me.
Yeah, I know. Well, actually, I met you. You obviously don't remember, at a Hal Levovitz book signing.
Ah.
I mean, that was obviously a long time ago. It was. Yeah, I bought the one book. He had all the articles in it. He rewrote the article or redid the articles. But yeah, you were there too. But I think you told me to go hit the road, kid, or something like that.
That sounds intense.
No, but it's weird. So yeah, I met obviously your nephew and then your brother. None of them have anything good to say about you.
Well, why would they? Hey, one thing I'll say about them: they're not liars.
Oh yeah, it was all good though.
Can I just tell you something? It's a secret between me and you. Ready?
Yeah.
Stu and Billy, my brothers, the best brothers in the world.
Yeah, I mean.
Good night, everybody. Showstopper.
Dropping the mic already, are you? No, it was a pleasure. Really, great.
They're terrible talk show hosts. Could you imagine if my parents didn't name me what they did, and this show would be more sports than Stu Levine?
Right. I know. So he's the only one that your one brother didn't go to Ohio State, but the other one did. You and him, huh?
Let me tell you something about my one brother. His grandson is the one that you play on. Your son plays on the same team. My brother Stu, was all city baseball in Cleveland, and to this day, which is 2020, something like that, he's still the leading hitter in the history of Ohio Northern baseball.
He told me that same story, and I was like, it was like 349 or something, or 429 or something, right?
Something like that.
Something sick, something crazy.
Yeah, but now I'll tell you the truth. It was crazy. Except he said the high school pitching he faced at Brush was tougher than what he faced in college.
Hey, and he said you were a stud baseball player.
Well, he wasn't a very good judge of talent.
He said the changeup caused you a problem, but he goes, no one could blow gas by you or anything.
Hey, that ball just curved. What do I do now?
And what was that one Cy Young Award winner guy that Stone?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had good things to say, I guess, about you too.
Why would that be?
I don't know. Did you play against him or play with him?
I played with him for 100 years.
Yeah.
In fact, I just talked to him the other night, and I asked him. His father taught him how to pitch, and his father didn't know anything. He wasn't a player or anything. He just read books or what. I don't know what he did, but he taught him how to pitch, which obviously paid off. And I asked, what was the purpose of what your father was doing? Did he want to make you a good high school pitcher, a good, good college? No way anybody from South Euclid is going to get drafted. He says, no, he wanted to be the best pitcher to come out of South Euclid. And he said to his dad, he says, we got Bill Byrne and Roy Shapiro. How am I going to be better than those guys?
Yeah.
Okay,
What's that?
It turned out okay, I said.
Turned out okay for him. Yeah, 40 years ago, he wins the Cy Young Award. You know, the best story about that is he played with the White Sox and the Cubs, and he signed with San Francisco. And he's going to free agency, and he's talking to Bill Veeck with the White Sox at the time. And he said, they almost had the deal wrapped up, and Stone says, oh yeah, one more thing. If I win the Cy Young Award, I want an additional $50,000. And they said, 50? What do you want, 100? You want 200? You know, because he was going to be the fifth pitcher with Palmer and McNally and those guys, and he wins the Cy Young Award.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, so when he played high school, did he ever give up back-to-back homers to twin brothers?
Identical twin brothers.
Identical twins.
Because there weren't twin brothers. That's all.
That's what made it funny. They didn't have twins in the family. I said to Bud and I were together the other couple weeks ago, and I said, Bud, I hope you don't mind, because we had some people there. I was going to tell this story. I hope you don't mind. It's the funniest story I've ever heard. And he gave me permission. I'm allowed to use it anytime I want.
That's awesome. Hey, nothing better than being able to laugh at yourself, huh? I mean, hey.
But the arc angle wasn't that much on the first on Joey.
Yeah, I kept him to under 100 miles an hour exit speed.
Yeah. I know. That's classic.
The game before in that game they played at Veterans Stadium in Philly. The week before they played in just some regular high school thing. The high school one, he hit a home run off Bud, went 112 feet. It almost made it to shortstop at Veterans Stadium. All right, enough of this tomfoolery. I got to get going.
All right, hey, real quick, tell me that Dallas game didn't kill you yesterday.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah.
Did you see any of that?
Yeah. How much was missed? How much was missed of it?
Just saw the final score.
That was it?
Well, it was an onside kick. So they do an onside. First of all, they come back from like 30 or something, like 28, and then they kick an onside kick, and the ball's spinning. It's literally like a cue ball, just spinning there, and all the Atlanta guys are standing there looking at it. And then
they didn't think they could touch it because it hadn't gone 10 yards.
It hadn't gone 10 yards yet.
They never saw anything like it. They don't have a kicker who can do that in Atlanta.
Right? Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did the one Atlanta guy look at his coach and said, "What do I do now?"
I know. If you see it, I mean, you would just cut those guys. I mean, how do you not dive on the ball?
Yeah.
I know. It's.
Anyways.
All right, I gotta go. Devin, great to talk to you as always.
All right.
Bud, you concerned about the Browns defense? They've given up at least 30 in each of the two games.
Yeah, I think if you want to be on the optimistic side of it, you say, hey, well, they're still missing players.
Or they didn't give up 40.
But I just think, there are reasons to be concerned about that. Les, from previous conversations, I didn't feel, very, very good about their defense going into the season either. So I think they're going to be, I think this 35-30 or whatever it ended up being, I'm not saying that that's going to be a routine score, but I think more times than not, they're going to have to outscore teams to win games.
Right. So do you feel better about this, or don't you feel one way or the other, or were you just waiting to see more?
No, I think
they look real, like a real team.
Yeah, we have to step back a little bit from this and just all the concerns we had about them going into the season with a new staff, a new head coach, a new coordinator, a quarterback coming off a not very good year. I think they quieted those concerns even among themselves.
And you had the extra 3 days or 4 days in between. It would have been worse had they lost this game.
Yeah, and so I think that they did about what you would hope that they could do, which was right the ship after a bad first game. So. And
by the way, after that bad first game, somebody in this booth had predicted wins in game 2 and 3.
Yeah, and now they have another subpar opponent that they'll be facing Sunday, and that they should be able to handle. And that gives them just some chance to take a deep breath and say, all right, we're making progress. We're putting some things behind us.
A lot to build on.
Yeah, so I think it was an important win,
all right,
even if it was convincing.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back in a moment. Mike Massetta will join us shortly. In the meantime, you've got 3 great locations for Northeast Factory Direct, and East Side, West Side, and of course South Side, which is Macedonia. Check them out, northeastfactorydirect.com. But Shaw and I return in a moment. Tomorrow night, it's Mary Kay Cabot returning. Then the D-Man Dennis Maniloff on Thursday. Dan Lobby, cleveland.com, will be here on Thursday. D-Man will be here on Wednesday. Take a break. We'll come on back. We are powered by cleveland.com.
Nature's Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature's Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature's Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
In our run game, we're trying to block them all up, and we're trying to be perfect in our scheme. And this double team's going to that guy, and this guy's pulling for that guy, or this combination of the zone game's working up to that guy. But they got pretty good defense over there on Sundays. So with our runners, we ask them to make some dirty runs. There's a guy unblocked, or there's an arm hanging out there they got to run through. And it's not always going to be perfect. When it's perfect, these guys can make some big-time plays. And even when it's not perfect, I feel confident in their ability to gain some yards and some dirty runs.
Yeah, Kevin, back to Chubb and Hunt. What kind of pressure does it exert on a defense when you have two guys that can really create on the dirty plays, like you said, instead of primarily just one?
Jake, I look at it, it's good to have two of everything. A lot of teams, have one corner. So you go attack the other guy, or they got, one linebacker. So like anything, I think depth at any of these positions helps you sustain for 60 minutes. So, you mentioned the two runners. We're real comfortable having either one of those guys or both on the field at any given moment.
Hey, Coach, after the game, Nick Chubb mentioned that he was talking about him and Kareem and mentioned that Kareem's so great, he would like to see him get involved earlier too. I guess, how cool is it for you that you have two guys like that really want the best for each other and aren't worried in any way, shape, or form about who's getting more touches or anything like that?
Yeah, America, it's pretty rare to have selfless players like that at that position. And I would just tell you that attitude permeates throughout the building. These guys want to win. They want to put the team first. And the really good teams I've been on have that attitude as well.
Hey, Bud, when you look back to last year and previous years with Cleveland, you got the feeling that, boy, it'll take a miracle to get a whole series of plays off without an offside penalty or guy jumping or a fumble or not getting the play in. It looks pretty easy right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think they look, more organized. We've seen, down at the goal line, we've seen them have some of the issues that they had last year too. But certainly they look more. Was it the first game of last season with 18 penalties? I mean, yeah. I just think they're a more disciplined team. And I don't want to hang that all on Freddie Kitchens. But I do think the way you practice and the standards that are held during those practices spill over into Sundays. And we'll see in the long run whether this holds up. But I think we remember last year, when it looked like Baker Mayfield was looking at the sideline, pleading with the staff to get a call made sooner. And I don't think we're seeing that right now. This seems to be a pretty well disciplined team.
Right. You mentioned Baker Mayfield first, so I'll come back and ask you, what did you think of his Game 2 performance?
Well, I liked a lot of things I saw. The running, the accuracy on the run, I thought was a big improvement. He still had the one interception that was not a good throw or a good decision. But in all, I thought it was a good comeback game for him after a really tough start.
When you look at that, of 16 of 23 for 219, it seemed when you're watching it, to me, it seemed if they took my arm and twisted it a little bit, I would say, yeah, I think he's got about 28 out. I think he's got about 22 out of 29, and he's close to 300 yards. It just seemed like there was more to it than those numbers. Yeah,
and I think that's the kind of what we're, in best case scenario, what we're going to think about this offense as games go on. It's going to look like they're not taking huge chances in the passing game. It's going to look a little buttoned down, but they still have that ability to strike for a big play like he did with Beckham. But all in all, I think they love the idea of Hunt and Chubb, and I think defenses are going to see a steady diet of those guys. Not the concern, but you wonder at the end of this year whether they're going to look at that position group at wide receiver and see all the money they have tied up in Beckham and Landry and decide that that's not the best use of their money either. And I know they're under the cap; they could probably afford to do it. But this is going to be,
if you win with it, that helps.
Yeah, if you win with it, certainly, yeah. But this is going to be I don't want to say run heavy, but this is we're not going to see them get away from the run like we did last year in games that were still closely contested, where everybody understands it. If you fall behind by 2 or 3 touchdowns and it's in a second, you're not going to hand the ball off at that point.
All right, so a week or so ago, we kept hearing ESPN saying that they got inside sources that the Browns were interested in trading Odell Beckham. Now a source says that ESPN the Browns have shot down that rumor. You glad that's going away at least for a week?
Yeah, I think they're trying to at least put it in Beckham's mind that they're not looking to do anything with him, that they still consider him a big part of this offense. I do still have questions about where they go after this season with him. He's signed for multiple years, but I just don't see it being a long relationship here. But I certainly think that they'll do their best to quiet that during this season for his benefit more than anything. They want a guy who's committed and interested in being great every Sunday. And we know that he can be a little high-strung when it comes to that stuff. If he starts to think that there's something to those rumors, he's not going to perform the way they want him to.
Okay, we're going to come back. We'll take a look at our Facebook promo. We'll find out what you were thinking about our Facebook question of the day and more. Mike Masetta from Nature Zone joins us also. We are powered by cleveland.com. More sports and Les Levine continues into its 25th consecutive year.
But you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your 4-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Browns Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week, and it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Let's check out this date in sports history. September 21st is the date, 1970. The Browns defeat the Jets, New York Jets, and Joe Namath in the first Monday Night Football game in the NFL. Howard Cosell doesn't know if the ball is blown up or stuffed, among other things he didn't know. Birthdays for today: Sudden Sam McDowell. But when we come back, I'm going to entrust you to tell the Bob Dolgan story with Sam McDowell, okay? Reggie Rucker was born on this date. Mandy Lifeboats, born. Artist Gilmore, Sidney Moncrief, and Dwayne Bowe, all celebrating birthdays on this date, 21st of September. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mike Masetta standing by. Bud, do you remember what Bob Dolgan, the famed, the esteemed or steamed sports writer for the Plain Dealer, what he said about Sudden Sam?
Yeah, in fact, Bob was steamed, I believe, that night, because I think you introduced him as being credited with naming Sudden Sam McDowell, and Bob said, "I wasn't credited with doing that. I did it."
There's a difference. You can be credited and not have anything to do with it, but he did it, and he made sure everybody knew. Mike Masetta is here. You know what? That's not a floor he's got under him. It's Nature Stone. Wow.
Wow. Thanks for the introduction. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. There's not many words in that introduction, and I messed up 6 of them.
Well, I've got another famous birthday for today.
Right. Oh, it's your birthday?
No, Sonny Masetta, my uncle.
Oh, Uncle Sonny.
Yes, Uncle Sonny. Everybody should have an Uncle Sonny. He's
for a lot of reasons.
For many reasons, yes. His birthday today.
Say hi to Bud Shaw. We just met him before the show.
What's up, Mike?
How you doing tonight?
Good.
All right. How did you feel after this Sunday as opposed to how you felt the last Sunday with Cleveland Browns? Well, the last Sunday was a Thursday, now that I think about it.
Look, if I were the Browns, I would focus all my attention on getting the ball in the hands of Chubb and the other running back.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt. Yeah, Hunt. And get the tight ends involved, particularly Hooper and the kid from the Ivy League school, and then when Njoku comes back, Njoku. I'd run an offense very similar to what the Ravens are running, because those two running backs with that blocking back, Jankovic or what his name is, that is just a phenomenal tandem. They may be the 2 best running backs in the league, and they're on the same team. Those kids can do it all. They can block, they can catch, they can do everything. And it does not put the ball in Baker's hands to be able to make really bad reads downfield. I know he had a decent game, but after Chubb had ran several runs in a row for about 40 yards to get him inside, I think it was the 30, he really had a very poor throw toward the end zone that cost them points at the end of the first half there, and could have changed the whole complexion of the game. And had Cincinnati this week will be very helpful on defense. But I was not. I'm starting to lose a lot of faith in Baker with his read. That was a bad read, and it almost cost them the game.
Yeah, help me on this. It's way too early to do scoreboard watching or handicapping on what's going to happen here. But it seems to me in the early going, and I know it's a small sample size, that the AFC seems to have more teams involved. I mean, as you expect after a Super Bowl win, Kansas City's struggling a little bit, although they're winning, and you're not going to struggle that much as long as you have Mahomes. But it seems like there's much more versatility in the AFC. Am I reading this wrong, or what am I doing here? But
well, I'll answer by saying yes. There are some very interesting teams with some versatile offenses in the AFC that you don't see quite as much right now in the NFC. The NFC seems a little bit dull to me, but yes, there's that Ravens offense is very special. I think Newton in New England brings a dimension to Belichick's team that he's never had before. I know they lost this past weekend, but they'll figure that out, and that'll be an exciting team to watch. But yeah, I agree with you, Les.
Yeah, it is early, Les, but I get your point. I mean, Philly looks like it's going to be down. Atlanta's down. San Francisco now with Garoppolo gone, with I can't remember who else they lost this week, but there are teams that you thought were going to be pretty good on that side of the conference that I think are going to struggle now. And I'm not sure I'd put the Niners in there yet, but certainly Philly and Carolina, teams like that. So I think Buffalo's on the upswing. I think the Patriots are still pretty good. I think the Browns still have a chance of being a competitive team.
Indianapolis seems to be one to watch also.
Yeah, I mean, they came back and played well against Minnesota after losing their first game against Jacksonville. So, yeah, I do think that it's more depth and more good teams in the AFC.
All right, when we get Mike, can you stick with us one more segment? I want to talk Indians when we get back.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll do that. We'll do that when we come back. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations, and the guaranteed price guarantee. You find a price lower than you bought it at Northeast Factory, they'll refund the money instantly. 3 great locations, West 140th, Lakeland Boulevard, Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia, northeastfactorydirect.com. We'll come back in a moment. More sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
On our exclusive Nature's Pearl Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Time for a How Come Quickie. How come you spend hours and hours looking for the best price you can get on a new car, then you hear about something called Friends and Family Discount? Anybody know anything about that? If it's either the best price or it's not. What do I know?
They're called quickies, sir.
Oh. 216. I'll tell you what's quick. This show, I said, this show's not moving very fast. And I look up, our clock had stopped for 8 minutes. But that's not important now. So let me quickly get to the Facebook question of the day. What impressed you most about Thursday's win over the Bengals? Glenn Berger, the coaching offense. The running game was really good, and the coaches played with it. Wayne Richard Lyons, deployment of the running game. You want to win, control the ball, and have Mayfield throw less than 30 times a game. Chris Hart, the running game and the play action seems to be a theme here. Andy Mees, the offense was so dominant they only had Jamie Gillam punt once. That's a rarity for the Browns over the past 20-plus years. Well, they only let him punt once because they were afraid he'd start running with it. What impressed you most?
The running backs, for sure.
All right, Bud.
Very impressive tandem.
Bud, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think those guys are going to be the ingredient that they use to keep control of the clock, even against some better offensive teams that they run into.
All right, the Indians taking on tonight. They take on Chicago, who has clinched the division title, and the Indians either tonight or tomorrow could wrap up the one of the wild card spots. Mike, what do you think? You got enough pitching to go?
Yeah, they have the pitching staff to win the whole thing in a season like this. Whether or not that happens, I don't know. Will they get enough offense? I don't know, but they certainly have the pitching staff for it. Their starting pitching is the best in baseball, and their bullpen, they have some hiccups here and there, but for the most part, they've been pretty solid as well.
Bud, what do you think? Enough?
I mean, we've always talked about going into these shorter series or even the longer ones and being able to hand the ball to a guy that you think everybody feels pretty confident is going to bring you that game one win. And they may have that more so now than they did since, the emergence of Corey Kluber, because certainly in a couple of the last playoff seasons, Kluber wasn't himself.
Right. All right. Hey, Mike, it's not a floor. What is it?
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
I figured you could ad-lib your way through that one.
Guys, thank you very much for the time.
Thanks, Mike. Have a great week. Mike Macetta from Nature Stone. Voicemail of Truth and Reason. You can leave a message for us if you'd like. If we're not here we are here from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time. But if we're not here, you want to leave a message, do it right there. 216-200-6650. Bud and I return one more time, despite what that clock says. More sports and this is clock management at its finest. More sports and less. Levine continues exclusively. Powered by cleveland.com.
Wow! Get Nature Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Mary Kay Cabot from cleveland.com will join us. On Wednesday, it'll be the D-Man Dennis Maniloff. Thursday, Dan Lobby from cleveland.com. Right now at Smiley One, they're making it easy to invest in a new heating system or cooling comfort system without breaking your budget. For a limited time, take advantage of the special financing, 36 months on select Bryant high-efficiency equipment. They make it easy for your family to stay comfortable all year long. Call Smiley One for more details. Bud Shaw with us. Let's go to South Carolina. Say hi to Ted Moon. Ted, how are you?
Doing well. Good evening, Bud and Les.
Good evening.
I wanted to ask a quick question. I noticed that there was a lot of injuries across the NFL this weekend, and but I haven't heard hardly anything about anyone getting COVID-19. And that goes the same for Major League Baseball. I didn't even think they were going to finish. And I'm glad I was incorrect on that. Have you heard anything different?
Yeah, I would have thought something was going to happen, but let's not bring it up so nobody will say, hey, let's try to infest people with this.
Sure.
Bud, you haven't heard anything, have you?
No, I think Ted brings up a good point. Baseball's done a pretty good job. Remember how they started out, Les? We were 3 games into the season and games were being suspended. I think that may have been an alarm went off and guys said, okay, we better stay inside the bubble here. I've always thought football was a little easier to control just because these guys are in a facility together. They're kind of in the same pod. They're not going outside of it. And when they go into towns, they come into a place, they have team meetings, a team dinner. They're supposed to have curfew if everyone follows it. They don't always do, but so I think they've done a pretty good job. And I think it speaks to why maybe some of the conferences in football that immediately thought that they couldn't play are willing to entertain the possibility of playing now.
Quickly, I have a sports dilemma. Both of you guys I respect very much. You should be able to handle it. Bud, you respond first. I'm watching the LeBron James and that game against Denver, the series against Denver. I keep switching whether I'm rooting for him or against him. What am I supposed to do in a situation like this?
That's a good question. I don't root against him, so I'm not sure I'm pulling for him to win again, especially in a season where the title is not going to mean a whole lot.
Is it a good story if they played Miami?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the best. That's the most interesting matchup.
Ted, who do I root for here?
Again, I don't root against them, and I'm leaning more toward I root for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
He did help us out.
All right.
He's having an amazing. His career gets just more and more amazing every minute.
No question. It doesn't look like he's lost hasn't lost a step yet.
He's doing this at this age is really incredible.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Bud,
thank you, gentlemen.
All right, Ted, have a great night. Bud, you have a great night. Terrific stuff as always. We appreciate it.
8.5. What I'm giving the show.
For what, the show?
The show.
Show is an 8.5.
I thought it was a strong one.
Yeah, well, 8.5. Oh, by your standards, that's good. 8.5.
Yeah, and as far as clock management goes, the game always moved too fast for Freddie Kitchens. I felt tonight the show was moving too slow for you.
I looked at the clock and said, "This is easy." All right, we gotta go. Right? Are we done now? What clock are we going by? We're done. That's it. We're done by the Mike Bacon clock that says we are done. We'll see you tomorrow night with Mary Kay Cabot of all the shows I've ever done. This was the most recent.